What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to talk about the new Mythic Ride the Lightning guitar and what I think the best mobility item in Season 3 is right now. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like to see more, and comment down below how you would rank the mobility items in Season 3 or just which one is your favorite. So if you were unaware, in the most recent update, the Mythic Ride the Lightning guitar was added for the Metallica collab. And while this is a Mythic, there are several spawns for it. It's not like a boss mythic where there's only one per match. There's several set spawns where it's guaranteed. I'll have a map on screen now, pretty much at every named POI. And also you can kind of just find it from floor loot or chest loot as well. So while it is mythic rarity, it's not single item like a lot of the other mythics have been. This is a really good mobility item. You can travel really far and really fast with it. Each guitar use has 3 dashes, and you'll travel in the direction you're pressing as the note is played. You'll see like a little icon on screen, and as the note enters the part where you play it, the direction you're pressing at that time is how you'll travel. And then with the final dash, you kind of dive downwards towards the ground. And controlling that can be a bit rough. I've heard it's easier for keyboard to control that final descent than controller, but I play controller, so I'm not sure. And in this clip here, I went in the same direction for each dash, and I ended up going 248 meters away from where I was when I started to use it. So you can get really far in about like less than 10 seconds using the Mythic guitar item. And the cooldown after each use is 25 seconds, but it starts from the moment you use the item. So it should be about 17 seconds-ish left on the cooldown when you actually hit the ground. One really amazing thing about this item is that you can use it anywhere where you can break through structures. So if you're in a house, if you're in the basement of a house, anywhere where you can break the structure to get out, if you tap the use button on the guitar, you're out of there. You don't really have to think about, positioning yourself in a way to make it work or getting outside and then using it. You tap the button and you're leaving. If you're in an area like a weapon bunker or a vault where you can't break the structure above you, it'll just say that there's not enough room to deploy it. But you can break through like multiple stories of a house to escape from a situation using the guitar. That makes it a really nice, just kind of like panic, get out of jail free card style mobility item. No matter what's going on, if it's bad, tap the button and you're probably going to get out of there unless you're in a very specific area. And the final like dive portion of the use of the guitar will deal 75 damage if you hit somebody. But like I've said, this really isn't the most reliable thing, at least on controller. Maybe keyboard players have a lot more control over it. And you actually can follow somebody into their lightning. So when somebody uses the Ride the Lightning, there's like a lightning bolt on the ground. And if you go into that, you will follow their path exactly, and you'll be able to like catch up to them and chase them. I believe you have about the time that they're using the item to get into the lightning bolt. So like a little less than 10 seconds to actually like follow their path. But that can be really good, especially if you're fast on it and you have the opponent weak. If you hit someone like 180 and then they use this item and you're close to them, get in the lightning, you can follow them and probably clean that kill up really quickly. But if you tag them for like 70 with AR, mid-range, they use the lightning, and then it takes you a little while to get into the bolt, I wouldn't be too kind of adamant about chasing that. I think it really depends on how weak you have the opponent and how close to the lightning bolt you were when they actually used it. Because if you're right on them, then you should be able to kill the cleanup quick. But if you're a bit delayed, they can still get pretty far away from where they landed by the time you get to them. And I've always felt like there's 2 types of mobility items in Fortnite. Items that are really good in fights and for like repositioning in fights or pushing opponents, and items that are good for traveling around the map. And I think this guitar is definitely more of a traveling mobility. It can be used in fights, and it can definitely be used to initiate fights if you get like a perfect landing on somebody. But like, let's say you have someone 100 meters away or so, like a decent distance, but not absurd. And then you get like good damage and you want to push them. I think the gloves are much better for that. And for like little moments that happen like that during a fight over the course of a game than like the guitar. Like this fight here, I beam this player and get good damage and then push them with the gloves and just easily finish the fight. If I used a guitar here, by the time I get there with the guitar, by the time I'm finally finished going backward and forward, trying to like get on the player has more time to heal, more time to get away, and they had a guitar of their own and are basically using it as I'm getting the kill on them. So if I used a guitar in this situation instead of gloves, I would not have ended the fight in the same way, and it would have gone on for longer, and this player would have used their own guitar and been able to reset the fight. So I feel like just in Fortnite, there's so many moments like this in a match where just like a little bit of quick mobility can really change the outcome of a fight. Like if a fight is about to happen and you can get on like a rooftop or some sort of mountain to get high ground, like, and you can do that quickly with something like the Nitro gloves, that's something minor that could really tip the odds of a fight in your favor. But like with the lightning, it's just oftentimes more mobility than you need for situations like that. And it takes a while to use. Whereas the gloves is just, if you want to go on the roof, you're on the roof. If you want to go on the mountain, you're on the mountain. If you want to, you know, push somebody, you're pushing them, and you're like, there's so much pressure applied with that item. Imagine if when you used the Nitro gloves, you were forced to use all 4 charges anytime you used it. Like, you would probably have a very different perspective or perception of the Nitro gloves than you do now, because you can, if you want to use all 4 uses, you can, but if you just want to use 1 or 2, you could do that as well. And it just gives you more freedom and more kind of decisions that you make over the course of a fight. And like, I think that's what makes the Nitro gloves a way better like fighting mobility item. The Ride the Lightning guitar is an incredible mobility item though. And if I haven't found gloves or like a decent amount of shockwaves yet, I'm very happy to take the Ride the Lightning guitar. Like, I'd much rather have it than no mobility at all. But if I'm just running one mobility item, it's definitely going to be the Nitro gloves if I have my choice of whatever I want. And there also is a lot of traveling mobility in the game right now just for free on the map that doesn't really take an inventory slot. So like cars, the Nitro effect, which can be pretty easily obtained by going through the rings, getting the canisters, maybe recycling some Nitro splash you find, like just picking it up and using it and going about your day, or getting the Nitro medallion. Like, there is so much mobility this season in the game already that I don't feel like I need to use this guitar. I'd rather just use a car and then have that extra like inventory slot for something else. And there are a lot of people that will want to carry double mobility items though. And if that's something you want to do, I think the Ride the Lightning guitar along with the Nitro gloves are incredible, but you will have to give something up. Like me personally, I'm always going to want to have a shotgun and some sort of spray weapon for follow-up like an AR or an SMG. And also this season, I like carrying a car counter item. So something like the EMPs, the boom bolt crossbow, and then obviously heals in our initial mobility item. So to run gloves and the guitar, I would either have to give up my healing item or my car counter item. And I wouldn't prefer to do that, but there are times where it can definitely work. And there's going to be a lot of people who really enjoy this playstyle. So like, if you want to run double mobility now, I would highly recommend getting the Machinist medallion because it heals you up to 75 shield, and it does regenerate shield pretty quickly. Like, it's a lot faster than the medallions after they were nerfed several times in season 1. It's a little bit like pre-nerf medallion. So if you really want to run double mobility, I would have like a high priority on getting that medallion. And then that kind of like shores up your problems, especially if you're in somewhere like the desert as well, because there is a lot of cactus in the area that you can get for heals. And if you have so much mobility, you shouldn't have a problem resetting a fight. But like I said, it's just not my preferred way to play. In chaotic moments, though, I have had times where like I fight somebody, there's loot on the ground, there's a guitar amongst their items, and I'm getting third-partied, and I just kind of drop my heals or I drop my car counter item for the guitar and get out of there and reset the fight rather than kind of just like trying to deal with the third party in that moment. But if I'm playing, you know, that's like a very chaotic, like in the moment decision. It's not my preferred way to play. I just think the gloves are better personally, but the guitar is very, very good. And the double mobility playstyle can also be very good. It's just typically not my preferred way to play the game. I'd rather have the item to counter cars. And I'd rather consistently be able to carry heals just to like be able to heal up in any sort of situation or reset a fight as I see fit and not be like reliant on getting heals on the map or like finding heals in a desperate moment. But that is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys found this helpful, informative, interesting. Let me know what you think of the mobility items in season 3. Do you prefer the gloves, or do you prefer the Ride the Lightning guitar, or do you just like running double mobility? And if you do prefer to run double mobility, let me know down in the comments below what you're dropping or what you're carrying in your double mobility setup. I think there's going to be a lot of people in the comments that really, really like that playstyle, and I get it. But it's just typically not been my preferred way to play in Fortnite. I tend to kind of gravitate more towards like a standard like setup like I talked about. But that is going to be it for this. I hope you guys found it helpful, informative, interesting. As always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.